Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Before we even get into the video, I need you guys to subscribe to my channel, please, so that you know when I post a video. But as you can see by the title, yes, today I will be talking about my suicide attempt. It's really not an easy story to tell, so if I get a little, yeah. But yeah, let's start from the beginning. Now, my early childhood was pretty good. Like early childhood, I really can't remember that much, but I know it was pretty good. I was living with my mother at the time. My mother and father are separated. I was living with her at the time, and I remember like moving around a lot. Like around age 6, like the most traumatic thing that I remember was being molested. But that is a whole nother topic that I do not want to get into. Other than that, my childhood was okay. Fast forward around like 8, 9, my mother had got a boyfriend, and as far as I can remember, I don't know exactly when they became like, boyfriend and girlfriend, whatever. But all I know is that he took me under his wing, and remind you, I don't know him from a can of paint, but he took me under his wing, and that became my father, because every time I needed him, he was there, like giving me advice and, making sure I ate, like making sure everything was good with me, something that a father should always do. Yeah, and treated me like his own, and I really became his own. So yeah, but yeah, living with him, it was really good. But it must come to an end. Not our relationship though, but theirs. One day, my mother and my father had got into an altercation, which led to us moving to PA and staying in a homeless shelter. Like, nobody wants to live in a homeless shelter. Nobody wants to be, as if they don't have a home, looking as if they don't have a home, nowhere to go. Like, everybody wants to have a home, so we ended up staying in a homeless shelter maybe about a month. And it's nothing bad about homeless shelter. It's just that I was young and I didn't really know what was going on at the time. So, of course, I was confused, scared, nervous, whatever. But it was a lot of weird things that was going on out there to me when I was a child. So, but I remember this one day we had went to Dunkin' Donuts and I had to use the bathroom. And I went to the restroom, I knocked on the door, nobody answered. I twisted the doorknob, it was locked. And so I went back to the register, asked them, like, is somebody in there? The door is locked. And so they said no. And so I checked to see what was going on. And come to find out, it was a girl in there. And she OD'd. I think it was heroin or maybe cocaine she OD'd on. And this was like the day before. And she was in the bathroom, locked in the bathroom, on the floor. Like, I'm not sure what happened to her. It's crazy how things happen. It's really crazy. But fast forward, we ended up moving back to New Jersey. I ended up moving with my stepfather, and my mother lived somewhere else. And so we was good. He always got me breakfast in the morning. Like, everything I asked for, I got. Yeah, we was living good for a while, and then my mother got her place, and then I moved with her. Now, when I moved with her, we didn't really have much. Like, moving around, we didn't really have much. Like, either we always stayed in a 1-bedroom or, yeah, 1-bedroom, and we never had much furniture. Sorry, y'all. But we never had really that much furniture. We never had cable, really. And yeah, it was kind of like, a bore, but I mean, I didn't really care that much. I mean, I always noticed, but it was like, what can I do? Now, this is when all my problems began. Elementary. And me in my elementary school, I was never like an out loud, outspoken person. I was always a little quiet girl sitting in the back, little innocent, quiet little girl. But yeah, that's when people started like, picking on me. People used to always call me ugly, say I have a big head, big forehead. Why is my teeth like that? My teeth used to be like yellow. I used to have like spots in the front. I never really could see that much. I just had a lot of self-esteem problems. When people said stuff about me, I started to believe it. When people say you was ugly, got a big forehead, got your teeth messed up, you can't dress, I started to believe all that. And so that's when my self-esteem started getting lowered. I was young, so I'm like, why are they saying all this? But I remember feeling like a certain type of way, but I never reacted on it. So yeah, elementary was a freaking drag. Like, I'm gonna insert some pictures of what I was looking like. Yeah, that's what I look like. I don't know, people used to always say I was bummy. I used to have certain clothes. People never really liked my clothes. But fast forward, I was living with my grandmother. And while I was living with my grandmother, it was also my father a couple times, my brother, uncle, cousin. We was all jumbled in one house. And this one house only had 3 bedrooms, and all the bedrooms was taken. So I had to sleep on a chair. Yes, I had to sleep on a chair every, like for a whole year probably. Sleep on a chair, eating egg sandwiches in the morning, oodles and noodles, maybe Chinese food here and there. That's why I never really invited friends over to my house, because I really had nothing. It was nothing there. Like, I just had a big trash bag of clothes, never had my own room. So it was just that. I never really spoke to my friends about my problems or the issues I was having. But you know me, I was making the best of my situation. Like, I never expressed my feelings towards it, nothing like that to the people, because other people are judgmental. I was always afraid of what people was gonna think. So that's why I never really spoke up. I stayed in New Jersey while I was going to middle school for until the 9th. Until the 8th grade, and then right before graduation, maybe a couple months before that, I ended up moving to PA again. But this time it was so much different, y'all. I left everything behind. It was me and my mother going to PA in the middle of nowhere. Middle of nowhere. It was so country. Now, let me explain how it was out there. Out there, it was all woods, a lot of animals, a lot of bears, deers, It only had 2 buses. It's not like the city. So one would come, if you missed that one, you have to wait a whole another hour or hour and 30 minutes for the next one. They didn't have trains. They didn't have a lot of stores. They had Walmart, Kohl's, JCPenney. The majority of the area was white. It was only a few blacks, a few Asians. Now, going to school, I was actually excited about going to school. I'm like, new school, new start, new beginnings. But no. When I went to this school, it was kind of hard to adjust, because I'm like, they don't listen to the type of music I listen to. They don't wear the same type of clothes I wear. You know, I just looked it different out there, or whatever the case may be. So yeah, it was hard. They stayed to themselves, so I just stayed to myself. Where my depression began, because it was like I had nobody out there. I mean, yeah, I had my mom, but like, you know, she had her own thing going on. So, you know, I felt alone. I locked myself in a room, watched DVDs all day, and I didn't have a phone, so I couldn't contact my old friends I used to talk to in middle school. So yeah, went to school and came straight back in the house. Wasn't no hangout time. Go here with this person, da 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 da. Because I was so depressed, I ended up not doing my homework, and I stopped taking tests seriously. Like whenever a test came my way, I would just put anything down and end up with an F. Like my whole report card is F's because I didn't do anything in my class. The only thing I really did was art class. So yeah, and anytime you would not turn your homework or not do a test, we would have to end up in detention. And so I ended up in detention a lot. So yeah, I had to repeat the whole 9th grade year all over again. But the second time around, I ended up doing better because I realized I had to graduate. Like, I can't just keep staying back out here. Definitely not. So that the second 9th grade year, I ended up doing well. Fast forward, summer came, and in the summertime, I ended up going with my cousin, stay at my cousin's house, because I was not about to spend my whole summer out there. So I ended up going to my cousin's house. And, you know, I had fun summer. I did not want to go back to PA. I was like, I'm going to run away. I'm not going back out there. I did not want to go back out there and be in that state of mind. But she didn't know that I was going through all that at the time. So I never told anybody. And so when I told my cousin, I'm like, I'm up on the way. Like, I'm not going back out there. She didn't believe me, of course. Towards the end of the summer, I ended up going to a funeral of a close family friend. Like, after the funeral was over, I had to leave to go back to PA. So after the funeral, my father was about to take me back. I ended up running away. And because I ended up running away, my aunt let me stay with her for the remainder of the school year. So I was happy about that. Fast forward, I ended up meeting this boy, and me and this boy ended up talking, went over to his house, you know, did something, and a couple months later, I ended up pregnant. And so I told this boy, I was like, I'm pregnant, and he was incarcerated at the time, so I guess there was really nothing he can do. I ended up dating another boy, and thought me and this boy was like getting a bond or whatever. I even told him like, yeah, I'm pregnant by somebody else, you know. I told him so, and he was still like sticking with me. So I'm like, he's really different. He's getting close, and this is the only person I could really talk to about anything. He had a lot of issues going on with himself, and so did I. But you know, eventually things start coming to light, and a lot of insecurities start showing. And you know, he ended up changing. Further down the line, when it was time for me to give birth, he ended up changing. I'm gonna talk about that again, like another story time, because there's so much. But yeah, it was really mentally abusive and physically abusive to me. Yeah, that hurt me a lot, because I really thought, like, when you find that person that you just could connect with and just vibe, and it don't seem like nothing seems forced, you know, you think that's the person you're gonna be with forever. Like, but yeah, we ended up separating. Fast forward to after I gave birth to my baby, my biological father was there and his girlfriend, but they ended up leaving that same day, the same night after I gave birth. And I was so confused in the hospital. Like, I did not know what to do. If I wanted to breastfeed or bottle feed. Luckily, the nurses was there to help me, like, guide me through what I was supposed to do. Because without them, I'd have been so confused, so lost. But yeah, after the hospital, you know, it was hard kind of adjusting to having a baby, especially being a single mom. It was so hard because not only do you wish that you had another person that could really help you, like help you sleep, help you change the diapers. It was a growing experience because it taught me, you know, to care for somebody, to actually be there for someone, to actually love someone. So yeah, it was killing me, like, was that I couldn't provide enough for my child. Like, I wanted to provide a lot for my child. Like, I want my child to have this and this and that. Like, I want my child to be very, like, over well taken care of, you know? And I was just trying to, you know, do too much in such a little time. And that was stress. That was adding on to the stress I was already going through. On New Year's Day, friends came over, they bought a bottle. Out that bottle, I ended up pouring some in another water bottle so I have it when I take my pills. And the pills, I already had them stashed in the bag. And it was like maybe like 10 or 12 pills all together. And so New Year's was over. Here comes the next day. The next day around like 4 in the morning. I ended up taking all the pills one by one. I waited till everybody was asleep, took the pills one by one, then drank the promethazine, and then drank the liquor. And next thing you know, I laid in my bed. 5 minutes go by, and everything just went black. Now, I remember waking up, and when I was walking, and it was so dark. Like, I ain't see nothing. Like, nothing. I couldn't see anything. I just remember straight darkness. Like, I was walking, like, when I come out of my room, it's the living room. And in that living room, I seen nothing but darkness. I didn't see no couch. I didn't see no TV. Nothing. It was just black. And I was walking towards the bathroom because I had to use the bathroom. And so I remember going to the bathroom, you know, using the bathroom, feeling all dizzy and stuff. And I remember, like, a black figure, but, like, a black figure, like watching while I was, like, coming out. I remember a black figure, like, watching as I was walking, like, out the bathroom. And so, yeah, I ended up, like, still walking, still dizzy, and then I ended up back in my bed, and I went right out again. Now, my family members said they was, like, my aunt and my cousin said they was trying to wake me up, but I wasn't waking up. Like, they was yelling, calling my name, but I wasn't waking up. And that was weird to me because if someone is not, like, responding, even you're shaking them and you're yelling and you're doing all this and they're not responding, that point on, you should just take them to the hospital because they're unconscious. And so I was unconscious for basically 7 hours, but I ended up waking up, so then went back. But basically it was 7 hours because when I took the pills, it was around 4 in the morning, and I woke up at, like, really got up at 11:53. So that was really strange to me. after I got out the hospital, I felt so much better. Like, my mind was clear. I was no longer getting like repetitive thoughts. Nothing. Ended up returning home, and I came back way better. Ended up getting a job, saving up. So yeah, that was my depression story time. There's other stuff that happened to me after dealing with all this, but I will never go back to being that way again. And my family had a lot of misconceptions about why I did what I did. They thought it was because of a nigga. They thought it was because I just had my baby, and that wasn't the case. But my advice to anyone going through depression, the best thing you can do, the best thing that worked for me was taking a break from the world, taking a break from friends, taking a break from family members, taking a break from social media, because that could be that's hard. Like, taking a break from social media when you want to focus on what everybody else is doing instead of your own problems, that's hard. But it's the best thing to take a break and do something that makes you feel good, you know, do something that makes you happy. So yes, this is the end of the story time. There's a lot more details I want to go into, but I don't want this video to be long, crazy long. Make sure you guys be on the lookout for other story time. Make sure you leave a comment. All comments are welcome. Share the video, and you know, yeah.